There's a difference between a disappointing weekend and a disappointing season. In this video, in today's Daily Double video, powered by WagerTalk, we're going to talk about 3 teams that have had disappointing seasons in 2 games for Monday Night MLB. If you had a disappointing weekend, I did too. Was not a great weekend for the clients. We did cash with the under in Game 5 of the NBA playoffs, but from a baseball standpoint, this weekend, frustrating and losing. What do we do when you have a frustrating losing weekend? You breathe, and you come right back and fire away on Monday, which is exactly what we're doing today. You can check out all of my plays, WagerTalk.com. Visit the homepage, wt.buzz/TC. That said, disappointing weekend for me. For the season, when we talk about the Tigers and the Astros and the Cubs, we're talking about 3 teams that have had disappointing seasons. Of course, the Cubs are playing the Rockies today, who've been disappointing since they started in baseball in the 90s. It's not like the Rockies have had a history of success. So 4 disappointing teams, 2 matchups for today. Let's break them down. And let's start with the Cubs and the Rockies. Right now, look at the odds logic live odds screen. And guys, for live odds, you go to WagerTalk.com and use our free live odds screen. It's awesome. It's probably the industry standard. It really is. If you want the good stuff, oddslogic.com/Teddy. The reason that it's good, because it's live. And when you see the lines move in real time, bang, I got to get this bet down right now. Boom, I can wait. Oh, let's wait. That half point here, 10-cent move there. Over the long term, it makes a huge difference to your bottom line. Again, check it out, oddslogic.com/Teddy. Get your free 7-day trial. I got the Cubs 2-1 favorites today, -200, -210. I'm even seeing -220s out there at the books that cater to recreational bettors. Total in this one has been bad up. I'm seeing 9.5s out there as a prevailing number right now. The Rockies coming off a pretty historic day yesterday. They scored 23 runs right here in Las Vegas, 23-9 over the Athletics. And some of that, look, if you're pitching on Sunday afternoon, it was 105 here in Vegas yesterday. It was not good pitching conditions. And obviously, for the Rockies, they got their bats untracked in Vegas. The air's a little bit lighter. The ball seems to carry well. And it's not like Aviator Stadium where they were playing is anything but a bandbox in AAA level. They have trouble keeping the ball in the park. So yesterday's outburst for Colorado, not something we're expecting today, again, at Wrigley Field in Chicago. That being said, it's a warm night in Chicago, the wind blowing out to center field, and the Rockies have a guy who I have no problem betting against. That's Michael Lorenzen on the hill for today. And you guys know me. I'm not a starting pitcher freak out guy, right? There are lots of videos you're going to see on Major League Baseball that are going to spend 7 minutes reciting all these starting pitching statistics. And my answer to that is, yeah, it's baked into the line. What's not baked into the line is what we're looking for and what we're looking to exploit. But a guy like Michael Lorenzen for the Rockies, he's a bottom-tier starter. He's been a bottom-tier starter. No one trusts him. The books struggle to get money anytime Lorenzen pitches. So what happens? You see the Cubs as $2 favorites for this ballgame. It's no surprise. Now, Chicago's bats, look, it's a Cubs team that played great baseball for the first month of the season and pretty bad baseball for the last month. Pretty bad may be an understatement. The Cubs have been a major disappointment since that hot start. That being said, and of course they had a chance to sweep the Giants and didn't get out with a win in the finale. They shut down by Webb in yesterday's game. That being said, they have won 3 out of 4, and prior to getting shut down by Webb, who's a legit ace yesterday, the bats had been hitting pretty well. Alex Bregman after yesterday's game, quote, "I feel like all phases of the game were better in the last 3 days. Hopefully we'll be able to, we continue to build off that as we head home." So for a Cubs team that has played disappointing baseball and got shut down yesterday, at least the arrow's pointed up now in a way that it wasn't a few weeks ago. The arrow hasn't been pointed up for the Rockies in I don't know, how many decades? Ever. It's been a while for Colorado. Lorenzen has a tough track record against the Cubs. He, of course, has been bouncing around. He spent, 7 seasons with the Reds, so he's had plenty of track record here in Wrigley Field, and it's not a pretty one by any stretch of the imagination. So from a starting pitching standpoint, Imanaga going for it, Chicago. He shut down the Rockies when he faced them last week. He shut down the Rockies when he faced them in the previous matchup. He's certainly someone who, in theory, is very capable of pitching a good game today. The bullpen behind him for the Cubs has been effective all season long, and yet I'm still looking at the over in this ballgame. I am. Look, the Cubs are hitting right now in a way they weren't for most of the last month. They're facing a bottom-tier pitcher with a bottom-tier relief corps behind him, and the whole bullpen got used up all weekend in Vegas. So no surprise here. If you want to just make it Cubs team total over, that may be the best bet of the bunch in this one. But I'm going to give the Rockies a chance. Obviously the lineup clicked yesterday. Obviously we've got good hitting conditions today at Wrigley Field. And no, you don't expect a team that had 7 different players having multi-hit games to do it again. We know how baseball is. But can the Rockies scratch out some runs in this game? I think they can, which has me looking over 9.5 for Colorado and Chicago. Before we talk about game number 2 on this doubleheader, obviously, we're talking disappointments today. That would be the Tigers and the Astros. I do want to let you know about what's going on right now at WagerTalk.com. It's summertime. The guys that are doing World Cup, cleaning up right now. World Cup action every day. I'm not a World Cup guy. I'm a baseball guy in the summer. And obviously every day in the summer, I do a little bit of football work each and every day, pretty much, maybe 6 days a week. But as soon as the NBA finals end, that's when I start to dig in. And of course, if you're interested, MLB season. We've got a great MLB package. You can do buy 3 days, get 3 free. All right. You can get everything through the end of the season for MLB. You can go till the start of football and get everything till football starts. Packages available, value priced on my homepage, www.buzz.com/TC. Check it out at WagerTalk.com. In addition, we really appreciate you guys. 250,000 followers on WagerTalk TV right here on YouTube. Give me a like, give me a comment, give me a follow. Thank you. That's all I have to do for promotion. Now, let's talk about the Tigers and the Astros. And again, looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen, Houston short home favorite, -120 total in this one. 8.5 juiced over or 9 juiced under. It's a split line for this total. So, and 9 is the keyest of key numbers for MLB totals. All right, the 9 is like a 3 in football, where it's worth paying a few extra cents to get on and off minus or plus 3 in football, because 3.5 and 2.5 is worth a lot. 9 for MLB totals is comparable in that regard. So I'm seeing 8.5 juice to the over, 9 juice to the under. If you're playing over, find some 8.5. If you're playing under, find some 9. 9 gives you that push protection. And of course, if you're playing over 8.5, that means you get a W if they get to 9 in this one. And when we talk about Houston and Detroit, I mean, it hasn't been, nothing would disappoint for both these teams. Tigers are 10-20 over the last 30 games. 13 of those 20 losses have been in competitive games. They just can't get over the hump. The offense hasn't been there, by 3 runs or less. They've been in games by 2 runs or less. They've bad. They're 7-14 in 1-run decisions this year. They're just not getting the clutch hit. They're not getting the key out, and that's been pretty consistent from day one this season for the Tigers. The Astros, they've had a whole lot of injuries, certainly, that have affected their level of play. Coming into the season, it felt like the long run that Houston's been on as an elite team. Maybe there were some issues this season, and obviously that's turned out to be the case. That being said, they started to hit of late. They pounded out 18 runs on Friday. Saturday. They got shut down on Sunday, which is something of a concern. But certainly, we're seeing an Astros lineup with Alvarez hot right now, with Jake Myers and Altuve going yard over the weekend. Houston's starting to hit a little bit, and that's certainly bad news for Detroit, who hasn't been able to get the clutch hits just yet. Now we have Kai Tang on the hill for the Astros, and he's been rough the last couple of outings. Last time out, he couldn't get anyone out against the Angels. 7 runs in the first. He was bombed in the first inning. They kept him in a little bit longer, but he's had a rough go in recent starts. 17 hits, 9 walks in 14 innings over his last 3 outings. That's something of concern for me. It's a bounce-back spot for him, in theory, against the Tigers' offense that has been scuffling. But I feel of the 2 teams right now, I feel like there's more of a bet on right now for Detroit. And, Melton's a guy who we don't have no problem putting our money on. He's won his last 2 starts. He's been pretty good for him. We'll give him 4 runs in his last 3 starts, over 20.2 innings at work. He can eat up some innings for Detroit. The bullpen behind him is solid. But more than anything else, all right, this is a Tigers team, again, 7-14 in 1-run games, 10-20 in their last 30. They're not that bad. Detroit is a 500 level team that has been playing sub 500 level baseball for the better part of the last month. There's money to be made on teams like Detroit as they climb back. And I don't know if the Tigers are going to be in contention this year, but one thing we know about baseball, teams get hot, teams cool off. Teams get hot, teams cool off. If we want to be proactive right now with the Tigers, who have not played good baseball, I wouldn't argue with the concept of looking on Detroit as a bet on team over the course of the next few weeks, perhaps between now and the All-Star break. If you ride the Tigers a little bit, I think you make yourself a little bit of money. So Tigers in the 1 as short dogs over for the Rockies and the Cubs. There's the 2 recommendations on today's free play video. And we'll do it again all week long, all summer long, right here on WagerTalk TV. Thanks for watching. Best of luck with all your bets. Again, visit the website, wagertalk.com, and we really appreciate the likes, the comments, and the follows. Have a great Monday. Cheers.